As the main protagonist of a Pokemon game, you generally play as the hero in the game's story. But what if you want to play as the villain? How cool would it be to join the ranks of Team Rocket, or lounge around with Team Skull? Perhaps you also enjoy squabbling over whether the world should be one large landmass or one large ocean. In this video, I want to find out what it would be like to join Team Star in my playthrough of Pokemon Violet. Before we get going, let me introduce you to Sarah, a new student transferring to Yuva Academy. Having just moved into Paldea, her adventure is going to start out just like our own when we started playing Scarlet and Violet. She'll meet Director Clavel, get introduced to Nemona, and for the time being, pick Fuecoco as her starter and name it Fuega. After a quick 1v1 with Nemona, you gotta say bye to your mom before going off to an adventure. Let me know down in the comments if you said bye to your parents. And be honest, we won't shame you if you didn't. We should probably go over some rules while she's going through the tutorial and meeting Arven. For this playthrough, I sent over a bunch of eggs containing Pokemon featured in any Team Star battles. We'll be hatching 2 eggs after each badge, following the standard progression order, and after major points in the story. And speaking of progression, we'll be following the level cap as well. So if Nemona's highest level Pokemon is level 20, we can't use a Pokemon higher than that level. If any Pokemon were to faint, they'll go straight to Detention, and we won't be able to use them until school's over. Now that I laid some ground rules, let's welcome Lenora and Marie. Soon after, we ran across some really interesting kids who I would guess are from a really cool club. Got introduced to our new classmates, and acquired permission to start our own treasure hunt to explore Paldea without any adult supervision. Sounds like a great idea for the school administration, right? Before we head out with this newfound freedom, let's reward ourselves by hatching 2 more eggs. Say hello to Finn and Mike. Now that we have a decent party going, we gotta figure out how to join that super cool club. Nemona is adamant about Sarah becoming a champion, so I guess first up on our list is to challenge the Cortando gym leader, Katie. For the gym battles, we're going to limit ourselves to the same amount of Pokemon the gym leader is using. Since I have a Finn, I put him as the lead in hopes of doing a full sweep. Nimbo goes down with 2 pecks, but leaves a decent chunk of damage to Finn. Next, Katie sends in Tarantula that also goes down with 2 pecks. Now that leaves Teddiursa as Katie's final Pokemon. Since Finn's health is almost down to half, I wanted to play it safe for the other party members and use Growl to lower Teddiursa's attack. Her Teddiursa used Fury Swipes, but Finn managed to dodge it. That gives us the opportunity to use Peck before swapping out. Or keep Finn in the field for one more Peck that apparently crits. Since Finn is in the danger zone, I didn't want to risk a miss, so we swapped in Lenora to tank a hit and deal the final blow to Teddiursa. And that, my friends, is 1 badge down. Hopefully that will appease Nemona for a little bit while I try to... Never mind. I guess we'll help out Arven with his quest. But before that, let's add in Chad and Caesar to our ranks. Anything could happen while fighting Titan Pokemon, so we brought everyone along to face off against this giant crab. The first fight wasn't so bad with Caesar taking the lead and rock smashing Cloth's shell to its breaking point. Now that Arven has finally caught up to us, we tag team Cloth with Caesar and Arven's clan. Since Caesar could tank any hit from Cloth, the fight boiled down to tenderizing Cloth while Arven's shelter simmered us down with some life dew. With the first Titan Pokemon down, we found the Urban Mystica Arven was looking for and shared a nice quick meal before heading off to hatch Melvin and Sheldon. Since we're near Artisan, let's head over and challenge the gym leader. Like our challenge with Katie earlier, Finn, who is now Fletchinder, is going to be our lead into Brassius' Petalil. A flame charge nearly locks out Petalil, but unfortunately Finn put his all into that and fell asleep. Petalil isn't too much of a threat, so it was fairly safe to stall out the sleep until Finn wakes up and knocks out Petalil. Brassius sends out Smoliv, who almost gets one-shot by another flame charge. Poor little Olive got burnt with a tackle, so Finn finishes it off. Sudowoodo is definitely a major threat to Finn, so we swap to Melvin to take a hit from Rock Throw. To play it safe, Melvin uses Poison Gas to poison Sudowoodo and throws 1 Acid Spray in before needing to swap to Caesar to finish the fight. Since Sudowoodo is Terra Grass, Caesar doesn't have a super effective move to end the battle in an instant, so we spam Headbutt till the fight is over. Brassius says that our battle was a work of art, but I might disagree with this battle here, because true art is an explosion. Speaking of explosions, let's welcome Peter and Riley for exploding out of their eggs. While roaming around in search of any sign of Team Star, we stumble across a big bird in the sky. Considering that most of the Pokemon available are fighting types, there may or may not be a certain level of fear from the sight of this bird. Since Melvin was in the lead, we throw up a smokescreen in hopes that Bombardier would miss a couple attacks. Of course, the first attack doesn't, and leaves Melvin in the danger zone. And without a safe swap, Melvin was going to have to take a hit for the team, but somehow managed to survive a pluck with 1 HP. Thanks to that, we can at least get a little bit of chip damage in. Thinking I can now swap, I throw in Lenora to take a huge beating from pluck. I was hoping she was faster, but apparently she wasn't and falls to another pluck. Next, we throw in Marie to do some damage, and she somehow dodges a pluck. This lets us use another Venoshock after taking big damage from Rock Throw. Thanks to the crit and Rock Throw doing about 21 HP, I took a gamble and prayed Marie could survive another hit. Somehow, my gamble paid off, but now we need to swap in a teammate. Considering that Bombardier is faster than most Pokemon in the party, there was going to be another sacrifice. So Chad comes in and takes the fall so we can swap in Sheldon to hopefully finish this fight. To my surprise, Sheldon is actually faster, so after taking a hit, we finish with a quick attack. Arvin decides to show up with Assault and doesn't even heal my Pokemon before aggroing the Bombardier. Going with the same strat like last time, we throw up a Smokescreen while Nacli takes the hit. Unfortunately, the bird wanted Melvin gone, so we lose Melvin. With 3 Pokemon left, Marie tags in and uses Wide Guard so we can protect Nacli, who's going to be the one carrying us. Unfortunately, that may have been a misplay because we lose Marie. Next up is Sheldon. Since we are basically on a timer, I was hoping Metaclaw's buff would help us chip down Bombardier before a complete wipe. Thankfully, Nacli's Smackdown does a ton of damage for us. Not sure why we tear it into ice. Maybe I thought it was Terra Steel, but whatever. Now the game plan is to Metaclaw and pray that Nacli keeps using Smackdown for us. Fortunately for us, Bombardier's Wing Attack missed, so we can use Quick Attack to finish the terrifying fight. Was it worth losing all the comrades this early on? I'm not sure, but now we know why Arvin is wanting us to help search for Urban Mystica. So my dear friends, your sacrifice is not in vain. Plus, y'all allowed us to welcome Tina and Rhea to the party. While recovering from that trauma, we managed to stumble across a Team Star base. Now is our opportunity to ask how to officially join. Hold on, I'm getting a call. Wait, director? When did... Never mind. Let me do my thing. Hold on. They think I'm there to challenge them. Well, if that's how the initiation process goes, I guess we'll follow along. Oh, this must be the leader. Maybe we can get him to... Okay, I guess we're battling. We lead off with Mike, while Giacomo leads with Poniard. A single Rock Smash should do the job, but it seems that we got a low roll. Unfortunately, that Aerial Ace hits really hard, but we're still faster, so one more Rock Smash should do it. Next up is that ride of a Pokemon, Reverie. I definitely didn't want to lose anybody, so we swapped in Caesar to take a hit from Swift twice, before misclicking into Headbutt. That may bite me in the back later, but we'll see. I actually wanted to use Rock Smash, but with that metal sound, we'd only be able to do another Rock Smash before having to swap out. Now we swap in Tina to spam Drain Kiss. Wicked Torque just does a little more damage than what is recovered, and for some reason Giacomo goes for a metal sound, so we're back to full HP after that. Just a couple more Drain Kisses later, and we win the battle. Since we beat the boss of the crew, does that mean we're in? Wait. You're done being a boss? What does that mean for us? I guess we'll try for the other bases. In the meantime, let's say hi to River and Colin. It's been a while since we've seen Nimona, so she decided to come visit us in Levincia, and unfortunately made us battle her. She leads with Rockruff, while we lead with Peter. A single Force Palm one-hit KOs Rockruff, and another almost knocks out Palmy, so another Force Palm finishes the job. So far so good for Peter and his suite. Luckily for us, Peter couldn't attack, so we take a lot of damage from a boosted Magical Leaf before swapping in Sheldon. There's not much for Sheldon to do other than chip damage with Quick Attack before swapping in Colin safely. You would think Flame Charge would secure us the victory, but it didn't, so Colin falls, leaving Sheldon to be the one to land the final blow with a Quick Attack. I didn't expect to lose Colin, but we gained Tatum and Victor to make up for the loss. Now, Iono is someone I'm a little scared of, especially Bellibolt and its Electromorphosis ability. We'll get there when we get there, but first up is Sheldon versus Wattrel. We lead with an Ice Wind, but not only do we miss, we get paralyzed as well. Thankfully, I thought ahead and gave Sheldon a Cherry Berry to cure it. This time, Ice Wind lands, and we get paralyzed again. I wanted to save everyone else's HP, so I risk another Icy Wind, and somehow Sheldon is still faster, so we knock out Wattrel. Now, our Nightmare appears before us, so we throw in Tatum to tank a Spark. I came up with a great plan to yawn Bellibolt to sleep so we can whittle its HP away while asleep. A few Flame Charges do the trick, and our greatest threat is no more. Next up is Luxio, so we swap to Caesar. Luxio's spark didn't do too much, so a bulk up or two wouldn't hurt to set up. One headbutt makes Luxio flinch, giving us a great opportunity to keep Caesar in the fight. Now with Iono's final Pokemon, Mismagius, I took a gamble with one headbutt as it used Confuse Ray on Caesar. Thankfully, Caesar kept his head straight and landed a headbutt. But can I do it again? Nope. I should have swapped Dentina instead. I was determined to finish the fight with the Terra Fairy Draining Kiss, and that was very underwhelming. But there's enough sustain to keep using it till we win. Sad to see Caesar go due to my mistakes, but let's welcome Katniss and Kinsley. Apparently there's another Team Star base nearby, so we're going to head over there to see if I'm part of the team or not, because Giacomo didn't really make it clear to us, which is making a little more sense because they think I'm here to challenge them. I guess I am if I can be the best Team Star member, so I'll go along. After talking to Clive and Cassiopeia, Mila did make an appearance, so let's see how this goes. She leads with Torkoal and we lead with River. Since Drought is up, it's best to use Bounce to stall out turns for the weather. Now that the sun is not as intense, we can use Aqua Tail and apparently land a crit. Since Torkoal is still up, we finish it off with Bubble Beam. Now it's time for her Hot Rod to go down, so we lead with an Aqua Tail to do a decent chunk of damage, and follow it up with a Bubble Beam in hopes of negating any speed boost it gets. Thankfully, any damage done by River Room isn't significant, so it's safe for us to spam more Bubble Beams for the win. Now that I beat 2 Team Star bosses, does that make me a boss now? Wait, she's leaving too? Well, at least we have Winston and Lori joining us. Before meeting up with Arven, we stumbled across a shiny Mudbray. Of course, I was too surprised to get the clip, but I did manage to record capturing it and naming it Debbie. Aren't surprise shinies the best? If you like random shiny encounters, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to spread that shiny luck around. Now that we're here, there's a giant worm in the ground we have to fight. The first encounter isn't going to be too hard since Peter is in the lead and ends the fight with 2 Force Bombs. And with Arven finally joining us with his Mushroom, we can set up with 3 workups to boost our attack. Apparently Peter doesn't exist to Orthworm since Toadschool is taking hits for us. The one time Orthworm does try to land a hit, it misses Peter and takes massive damage from a Force Bomb. I was hoping it was going to be knocked out with that, but one more should do the trick. At least Orthworm is much easier than Bombardier. After a pleasant treat from Arven, we welcome Jenny and Shirley to the party. Next up is challenging the Koskarafa gym. Kofu has a few threats I'm worried about, so let's see how things go. He leads with a projectile fish, and we lead with River. Unfortunately, the missile is faster and happens to land a crit with its slash, so we're already at a disadvantage. River uses Trailblaze, so we can get the speed boost and hopefully become faster than Veluza. Now we can play rough for some significant damage until we knock out Veluza. Wugtrio gets sent out, so we Trailblaze once to negate a gooey effect and heal a smidge from Shell Bell. Another Trailblaze should knock it out. Never mind. I guess it's goodbye to... or not! That gives us an opportunity to knock out Wugtrio and save River. Kofu sends out his last Pokemon, Crabominable, so of course, we send out our own for a 1v1. Unfortunately, we take a massive hit from Crabhammer, so Mike uses Protect to get some more health from leftovers. Little did I know that Mike is faster, so a Terra Fighting Drain Punch gives Mike plenty of HP to definitely survive a hit and knock out Kofu's Crabominable in the next turn. Maybe I should have been punished for that play, but for now, I'll take the win. I'll also take in Tanner and Zoro before heading out to our next destination. Back on the other side of the map, we stumble across the Poison Crew base deep in Tag Tree Thicket. This kid seems adamant that I'm here to break things up, so I'll let Clive school him and meet up with Atticus. For an upperclassman, he talks like a weirdo. Cassiopeia did warn us about his vernacular. There seemed to be something lost in translation because he started throwing out his Pokemon for a battle. I guess we'll have to communicate through a Pokemon battle. He leads with Skuntank while we send out Rhea. I have my reservations with this fight, so I'm hoping Rhea's Brick Break takes a decent chunk of health from Skuntank. A Toxic does poison Rhea, but I thought ahead and gave her a berry to cure it for a turn before being poisoned again. Our third Brick Break eventually takes out Skuntank, but we're currently at a small disadvantage with this poison. Atticus sends out Muck and trades blows with Rhea. Since Rhea is close to being knocked out, Shirley tags in to tank a Sludge Wave. Quick to the punch, Shirley accidentally uses Poison Jab. What she meant to use was Screech to lower Muck's defense before praying for a crit from Night Slash. Unfortunately, no crit, so one more Night Slash should do it. Clearly Atticus watched some TV growing up because he thought it would be a good idea to throw up a river room on top of his ride. River room. Since Shirley was pretty low, I mistakenly swapped in Tatum to take a hit from a bulldoze. Tatum should be able to take another bulldoze, so here's hoping Lava Plume knocks out River Room in one hit. Which it did. Now to face off against the other River Room. With that slight misplay earlier, Tanner is going to have to tag in to execute my cheesy strat. Oh wait, yawn doesn't work for this fight. I guess we're bulking up instead. Since leftovers basically negates any damage done to Tanner, the rest of the battle was a very slow burn to victory. Clearly my message came across in this battle, right? Definitely not, since Atticus is leaving too. Are we even members of Team Star at this point? Bertold and Reiner think we are, so I guess we're honorary members who just happen to be working towards beating all the bosses. It's been a while since we've had a good meal. Let's check out Madali and see if there's a good restaurant to try out. This seems promising. Oh, it's a gym as well. And this guy's the gym leader? Wait a minute. Is this me in the future? Well, Larry, we challenge you to a battle. Your Kamala is no match for Rhea. And just as we thought, one Brick Break is an instant knockout. The Dunsparce may be a little more bulkier, but your glare is rendered useless thanks to the Lumberry. With another Brick Break, you're out of the battle. Last but not least is Larry's Staraptor, which is actually going to be a threat for Rhea. Tanner tags in during the Terror transformation and eats an aerial ace. Since I didn't get a chance to use my cheese strat, we're going to yawn this time and swap to Rhea. Now we gamble on how many turns we have before Staraptor wakes up, which we only need 2 turns apparently. Well, that went a lot easier than I expected. Now we can actually enjoy a meal, right? Nope. Nemona appeared out of nowhere and challenged us to a battle. At least give us a chance to rest after a meal. Since this battle happens right after beating Larry, our lead is still Rhea, who is up against Nemona's Lycanroc. Not bad since Brick Break nearly knocks it out. After another Brick Break, Nemona sends out Palmo, so we swap to Debbie. I figured Nemona was going to try to use an electric move, so that gives us a good chance to use Earthquake to knock out Palmo in one hit. Gumi comes up next and actually threatens Debbie, so we swap to Tanner into an unfortunate crit. One yawn later, and Gumi is down for the count for us to stockpile and use Sludge Bomb to recover a good chunk of health. Since Sludge Bomb took almost half health, a Terra Poison Sludge Bomb should finish the job. Meowscarada is Nemona's last Pokemon that will also go down to a couple of Sludge Bombs. That Flower Trick was a little too close for comfort, but Tanner stayed strong and knocked out Meowscarada, winning us the fight. Oh, and Debbie got a chance to evolve. She can introduce herself to Poco and Annie. After a bit of rest and lots of grinding, the Montenevera Gym Badge is the next one to unlock. After a few battles with some small fry, Rhyme busts in with her rhymes like she owns the block. Since this is the only double battle we face, Rhyme spits out Banette and Mimikyu. We respond with Lori and Shirley. One Throat Chop knocks out Banette and a Poison Jab gets rid of Mimikyu's disguise. Houndstone makes an appearance and the crowd goes mild since it goes down to another Throat Chop. Mimikyu almost goes down to a Poison Jab, but it wanted to stick around for the finale. Toxtricity comes around for the last act just in time to be one-shotted by Lori's Throat Chop. With Mimikyu being the last one standing, Shirley ends the battle with one more Poison Jab. Not too shabby. Right, Courtney and Connor? It's been a hot minute since we've seen Arven. I wonder if he's hanging around over here next to this giant, rolling, futuristic Dawn fan? Oh, that's an Iron Treads? Well, it doesn't seem so bad with a single Earth Power knocking it out. Glad to have you around, Arven. I see you brought some spices along. Wait, we beat Iron Treads already? That was easy. Matilda and Peyton seem to agree. Anyway, didn't we just see you a while ago, Nemona? And you want another battle? I challenge your Lycanroc with Bertold. That Rock Slide did a little too much damage for my comfort, but Earth Power knocked out Lycanroc for us. Sliggoo is definitely a threat to Bert, so we swapped in Courtney and nearly destroy Sliggoo with a Dazzling Gleam. Unfortunately, Water Pulse procs Confusion, but Courtney manages to pull through and knock out Sliggoo. Courtney should be able to take one hit from Palmot, so we risk a Confusion roll and successfully get a crit from Psychic. Last is Meowscarada, so we swap in good old Jenny and Terra Poison to a Gunk Shot for a one-hit KO. I know you're trying to be a good friend, Nemona, but sometimes we need some space. Now that we got our space, we can finally challenge the Alfrenada Gym Leader. For such a busy person, I'm surprised Tulip gave us some time to battle. Her first Pokemon is Farigiraf, so we lead with Reiner. I thought it'd be a good idea to use Fake Out, but I forgot that Armor Tail prevents that move from working. So Tulip got a free Reflect Up. Since Ghost type attacks are immune, I'm stuck with using Knock Off until we get really lucky with Reiner surviving with 1 HP. Now that Reflect is gone, time to swap to Annie. Sucks that our defense fell, but at least Farigiraf is out. Next is Espathra, whose Shadow Ball did a little too much damage and lowered Annie's special defense. We're very lucky that Shadow Claw did a one-shot with a crit. Not only that, but we also managed to one-shot Gardevoir too, with another Shadow Claw. With Forges out in the field, it was definitely time to swap out Annie with someone else. But I felt a little too cocky and did a Terra Ghost Shadow Claw to hopefully one-shot Forges, which it didn't. So say goodbye to... Ooh, I'm so close. Oh my gosh. Never mind. We're going unpunished and secure the win with a Shadow Sneak. I know that was a very risky play, but that Annie sweep was gorgeous. Now we get to say hello to Will and Gary. With one more gym to go, we raced our way up to Glaciado, down Glaciado, and up Glaciado again to challenge Grusha. His lead Frostmoth should be no match for Victor. We set up with a shift gear to boost our attack and speed before one-shotting Frostmoth with an Iron Head. Beartic, being the next victim for Victor, also goes down to Iron Head. And guess what? So Titan also went down in one shot too. Is Victor about to sweep Grusha's whole team? Once Altaria teared into ice, it was game over for Grusha. Probably the easiest gym battle we've had. Now we can challenge the Elite Four, but first we gotta welcome Velma and Finn. Being an honorary member of Team Star, I figured it was time to see what the other bosses are doing since the other three left. So we went up north to stop by the Fairy Crew base. Ortega seemed a little disappointed in meeting us, so he decided to challenge us anyway. I guess this is what Cassiopeia meant about Ortega being a little stuck up. He leads with Azumarill, while we lead with Poco. Seed Bomb does massive damage, but since Azumarill used Bounce, we swapped in Will. I guess Ortega was throwing because Aquatel gave Will some health before knocking out Azumarill. Ortega sends out Wigglytuff, which manages to paralyze Will with his Body Slam. Unfortunately for us, Will couldn't make a move because of it. Without a crit, Will should be able to survive another Body Slam, so we try to Poison Jab again. Once again, we get Parahaxed, forcing us to swap to Shirley. Already at nearly half health, we gamble on Shirley being faster and one-shotting Wigglytuff. Our gamble paid off because not only was she faster, we also managed to get our one-shot thanks to a crit. I figured that we'd still be faster, so another Sludge Bomb should do the trick, which it kinda did thanks to the poison. Now that Riverroom is the last Pokemon, we needed a safe swap to our own Riverroom, so a sacrifice had to be made. Goodbye Shirley, we'll see you after school. For maximum damage, we went with Terra Steel Iron Head. Ortega went with Fuse Ray and made Victor hurt himself. One minor setback, because he snapped out of confusion the next turn and did massive damage with Iron Head. Once again, Ortega wanted Victor confused so he could hurt himself again. It's getting pretty close, but Victor managed to pull through and land another Iron Head with confusion. With a little bit of head math, we deduce that Victor should be able to live one more hit from Magical Torque and self-infliction from confusion. So with this last turn, Victor took the hit and snapped out of confusion to deliver the final blow. Now that we're victorious, we can finally ask why all the bosses are stepping down. Apparently there's one big boss they're looking for, but rules dictate that they step down if they lose. As an honorary member, I think Team Star should stick together. I wonder, if we defeat the last boss, we can draw out the big boss and try to reunite everyone in the team. Even though everyone is making me challenge them, Team Star is actually a really fun group to be around. We just gotta understand each other. Anders and Genzaidon seem to agree. I wonder what Arven's been up to. He told us to meet him somewhere in the lake. While exploring, we found a small Tatsugiri when suddenly this giant Dondozo snatched it up. Arven's not going to believe this. Our lead Katniss starts off with a Leech Seed for sustainability. That Body Slam did hurt, but Leech Seed almost negates that damage. One Energy Ball later and Arven makes an appearance. That squirrel he's packing is chonky. Once again, we use Leech Seed at the start, followed by an Energy Ball to nearly take out Dondozo. Another Energy Ball should do it, but apparently this Tatsugiri was the true Titan all along. Icy Wind did a lot of damage to Katniss, so we definitely needed to swap after setting up Leech Seed. Courtney tags in to take no damage from Dragon Pulse. Moonblast does a sizable amount of damage against Tatsugiri, but I guess Tatsugiri is taunting us to do it again. We happily oblige, and with the help of Greedent, we defeated the last Titan with Arven. Since we found all the Urban Mystica together, Arven's Mabosstiff seems to be making a full recovery. Glad to help out, bud. We're gonna give Arven some space, so let's head to the final Team Star base and challenge the fighting crew. Aerie sure is a character, but Cassiopeia and Clive said she's the last boss for us to beat if we are to find their big boss and keep Team Star together. She leads with Toxicroak, and we lead with Finn. Aerial Ace does a good chunk of damage, but taking a hit from Poison Jab hurt and poisoned Finn. At least Flame Body burned Toxicroak and reduced its attack, because that Sucker Punch would have definitely knocked out Finn. Aerial Ace knocks out Toxicroak, making Aries send out Passimian. Peter tags in for Finn and loses a bit of speed thanks to Rock Tomb. And because of that, Passimian pulls off a close combat, bringing Peter's health down dangerously low before he can use Zen Headbutt to knock it out. Annihilate comes out next, so we have to swap to Poco if we want to save Peter. Rage Fist didn't do too much damage to Poco, but apparently Poco was slower, so close combat knocked him out. Sorry Poco. Velma's up next, and somehow she manages to survive a Fire Punch and bring Annihilate's health down a lot with Psychic. Not wanting to lose another Pokemon, we swapped to Rhea. Thankfully Fire Punch didn't leave a burn, so Rhea was able to knock out Annihilate. Now we have to deal with Lucario. Apparently Rhea was faster and her Flying Press managed to one-shot Lucario, so I'm not sure what I was worried about anymore. The last Pokemon standing for Aerie is going to be her Revavroom. With some boosted confidence from Lucario, Rhea goes for a terrifying Flying Press for substantial damage. Stamina is going to boost Revavroom's defense, so we have to act fast to knock it out before it sweeps the whole team. Thankfully, Spin Out doesn't do too much damage, and with the heals from Shell Bell, we managed to defeat... How? Oh man, I spoke way too soon. Goodbye Rhea, really hoping you were going to make it. From one bird to another, Finn tags in and takes revenge for Rhea. With Aerie defeated, Cassiopeia dropped the big reveal that they were indeed the big boss of Team Star. So you're telling me that we've been calling the big boss of Team Star all this time? And we could have asked them if we can join Team Star instead of going through all of this? We're gonna put that on pause and say hi to Sherwin, Grimsley, Hera, and Chase while we sort things out. Feeling conflicted, the best thing to keep our minds off things was to challenge the Elite Four. A lot of prep and grinding went into making sure we can make it all the way to the end. But once everyone is ready, this is the team we're going in with. After acing that interview, Rika becomes our first opponent. We lead with Courtney while she leads with Whiscash, who is no match for a one-hit KO Energy Ball. After that, Camerupt enters the field, prompting us to swap to Connor. After taking a significant hit from Fire Blast, Connor's stomping tantrum nearly knocks out Camerupt. Rika must be rooting for us since Connor isn't affected by Yawn. Another stomping tantrum does a trick, with Donphan replacing Camerupt. This got me to swap to Grimsley, which was probably a bad play considering he took too much damage from Earthquake. We tried to use Chilling Water, but that didn't do enough damage, causing us to panic from that poison jab. I didn't want to lose anyone so early, so we were forced to swap to Tanner to hopefully stall out Donphan. Two Earthquakes nearly take out Tanner, but thanks to Yawn, Donphan's sleep gave us an opportunity to safely switch to Courtney and knock it out with Energy Ball. Dugtrio pops in and manages to dodge an Energy Ball, leaving Courtney with about half HP before Dugtrio finally gets knocked out. Rika's ace Pokemon Clodsire makes an appearance and somehow manages to stall us with some Protects before scaring us with an Earthquake. Very much a close call, but since we're faster, Courtney secures the win. Next up is... Poppy? Alright, young or old, we're still going to beat you. Since Caparajah is her lead, we start off with Riley to pull off a one-shot with an Aura Sphere. Bronzong is up next to take a hit from Aura Sphere, but since Earthquake did some major damage to Riley, we're forced to swap in Connor to take care of the rest. After taking minimal damage, Connor's Rage Fist is boosted enough to take out Bronzong. With Corviknight in the picture, our matchup isn't in our favor, so we swap to Chase. Bitter Blade didn't do as much damage as I liked, and that Brave Bird didn't help the situation at all. I didn't want to take the risk, but a Terra Fire Bitter Blade should knock out Corviknight. Man, I was really hoping that would do the trick. Thankfully, Brave Bird didn't knock out Chase, so we were able to finish off Corviknight thanks to Recoil. With Magnezone floating in, we definitely needed to swap to Connor. Of course, we didn't have a way to counter Magnezone's Sturdy, so Connor is going to have to take a few hits for us before knocking out Magnezone. Last but not least, Poppy sends out Tinkaton. Since I wanted to make a safe switch, we throw in Tanner to tank and Yawn to get Tinkaton to sleep. Once asleep, we send in Chase to one-shot Tinkaton with the Terra boosted Bitter Blade, securing our second victory. Next on the chopping block is... apparently Larry. Didn't know he was an Elite Four member too. Does he not sleep? Probably not. First up is Larry's Tropius, which we counter with Tanner. Acid Spray didn't do too much damage, so this gave us an opportunity to yawn and bulk up Tanner. Tropius woke up a little too soon, but we're basically done setting up, so just gotta go back to sleep so I can spray and pray with more Acid Spray to take out Tropius. Staraptor may have been a threat before, but not today. After that measly Brave Bird, we follow the same strategy from earlier until Staraptor goes down. Now that Oricorio is out, why not do the same thing again for a third time? And a fourth with Altaria. Probably a fifth too with Flamigo. Look at you, Tanner. carrying the team with this battle. The last Elite Four member we have to face off is Hassel. As a dragon specialist, he sends out Noivern, who will counter with Courtney. Unfortunately, Noivern is faster, so Super Fang takes out half of Courtney's HP before being knocked out by Moonblast. Dragalge swaps in to threaten Courtney, but I figure a Psychic is going to take care of it in one turn. I guess not. Goodbye, Courtney. Let's go! I did not expect the power of friendship to come in clutch for us right here. Now that we have a second chance, Dragalge goes down from another Psychic. With Haxorus entering the stage, we definitely have to swap to Grimsley, hopefully to finish the sweep. Somehow Grimsley is slower than Haxorus, so a significant chunk of HP is lost from both sides of the field. Since I didn't want to lose Grimsley, swapping in Chase was the best play. It's a little too extra to Terra Fire into Bitterblade, but better safe than sorry. Now that Flapple came into the mix, we can take care of it in 2 Bitterblades before having to face off against Baxcalibur. Forgetting about Thermo Exchange, we did another Bitterblade and boosted Baxcalibur's attack for free. Thanks to that misplay, Glaive Rush annihilates Chase, causing our first loss this deep into the Elite Four. Angered by losing a fellow mate, Connor's outrage avenges Chase for us and finishes the fight. We're sorry, Chase. We were looking forward to that perfect run. Coming right off that bittersweet victory, Champion Gita is our final opponent before we become champion. Already at a disadvantage, Gita's Espathra is a worrisome matchup against Connor. This first turn really depends on how well Connor is going to take the first hits. Lumina Crash does a lot of damage to him, but this allows him to knock out Espathra in one go, leveling the playing field a little bit. Go-Goat is surprisingly scary considering its looks, so swapping in Tanner was the best play here. Since Tanner managed to survive a boosted Zen Headbutt, we get to pull off a yawn before swapping in Courtney to take the next hit from Go-Goat. But apparently Gita wanted to bulk it up, so this would be considered a safe swap. Now that Go-Goat is asleep, we can actually use Wish to heal Connor. Then we can swap back to Courtney to start taking care of Go-Goat. Since Zen Headbutt doesn't do too much damage, we could go for more Mystical Fires until Playrough entered the picture. I'm glad Gardevoir is faster, but I wish that crit came in earlier. Now that Kingambit is in the field, I definitely needed to play things more carefully since Supreme Commander boosts its attack and special attack from its fallen allies. So our best play is going to be swapping into Riley to take a hit from Ironhead and one-shot Kingambit with a single Aura Sphere. Alvalog does threaten Riley, but I'm not sure by how much. So we use Meteor Mash to hopefully pull off another one-shot, and it doesn't. Body Press from the giant chunk of ice knocks out Riley, making us lose another friend. All revitalized and angry, Connor strolls in and throws some Rage Fist at Alvalog until Veluza tags in to also fall to Rage Fist. With Glamora being our final obstacle to become a champion, I'm confident Grimsley will finish the job. With the help of Tanner's Yawn, now that Glamora has been knocked out, we are now champions. Chase, Tanner, Connor, and Riley, your efforts will not be forgotten, because y'all allowed Jean and Maui to join. Now that we're champions, let's check on Arven and give him the news. It seems he needs more help from us, but he did challenge us to a battle. With this battle, I thought it'd be a great idea to bring in other Pokemon I haven't used much, so Finn is up against Arven's Greedent. I wasn't too threatened by Greedent, so I thought it'd be best to set up with Work Up. Unfortunately, Finn gets paralyzed in the process, but we're still faster. Now that we've worked up a few times, we can Baton Pass to the true sweeper, Annie. And since Annie is a ghost type, Gradient's Body Slam does nothing, so we get to maintain Annie's disguise. One Play Rough knocks out Gradient. Slash almost knocks out Toadscruel, so Annie falls asleep to Spore. Since we still have a disguise up, I hope that Annie will wake up the next turn, which she didn't. So I gambled again, and she did wake up this time. With Scovillain being next, I wasn't sure if we can one-shot it with just a regular move, so Annie tears into Ghost for a boosted Shadow Claw to knock out Scovillain. Since we're still on the field, we might as well try again for Garganacl, which doesn't work out so well for us, so Peyton swaps in to finish off Garganacl. Cloyster comes in next, and it's also weak to Fighting type, so another close combat should do it, which it didn't, so say goodbye to Peyton. Never mind, and since Peyton is wearing Rocket Helmet, Cloyster gets hurt by Recoil and faints. Last up is Pabosta, who is definitely going to go down with one close combat. But apparently it's faster, so now is the right time to say goodbye to Peyton. Winston is a little bulky, so we swap him in to swap play roughs until we beat Arven. So close, Mabosta. You did put up a great fight though. We'll check back up on Arven, but let's check on the others with Sandy and Kiana. Supposedly, we need to meet Cassiopeia at the academy, but Clive greets us instead. He says that he's Cassiopeia, but we aren't falling for that. Anyway, Director Clavel challenged us to a battle, so I guess we'll play along. He sends out Oranguru to face off against Zoro. We set up with Home Claws before being yawned at, so we had to use U-turn next to pass off the boost to Genzaidon. Foul Play does a lot of damage, but using U-turn again back to Zoro doesn't worry me too much. With Obama Snow, we can use Hone Claws again to boost our attack before U-turning to the real Anders. Fire Fang nearly knocks it out, so we finish it off with extreme speed. Houndoom doesn't pose too much of a challenge, but with Aurora Veil up, our attacks are halved. Another play rough nearly knocks out Houndoom, but Anders toughed it out for us with 1 HP remaining, letting us take care of Houndoom with extreme speed. Knowing Anders is pretty fast, we can let him sweep up Poltergeist and Amoonguss. Well, never mind since you missed. At least Amoonguss used Spore, so we can save Anders and swap to Winston to take care of Amoonguss. Unfortunately, Winston gets spored on, but that doesn't matter because Winston shakes off the spore. This part becomes more of a battle of attrition with Body Slam and Giga Drain, but eventually we lose Winston, so we can safely swap into Zoro. We set up with agility, but being poisoned, our time is limited. So after another agility, we U-turn into Genzaidon to finish off Amoonguss. Dragon Claw manages to land a crit, but Effect Spore puts Genzaidon to sleep. Me being a gambling man, I put my faith that Genzaidon would wake up in time for Shed Skin to proc, which it did, so Amoonguss falls. Since I started off with Quaxley on my first playthrough, I knew Quaquaval was going to be a speed demon. That's why we had Zoro use agility to pass it off to Genzaidon. I wasn't sure if we would be able to one-shot Quaquaval, so we used Breaking Swipe to guarantee an attack stat drop before losing Genzaidon. Katniss tags in to get Terra smacked into a Brick Break before using Energy Ball to knock out Quaquaval. Now that we beat Director Clavel, we should be able to see who Cassiopeia really is. But before that, let's bring in Fiona and Susan. Cassiopeia happens to be Penny all along, that girl we met at our first Team Star encounter. She says that this battle will determine if Team Star disbands or not, so here we go. She starts off with Umbreon, while we lead with Lori. Just in case Umbreon actually hits hard, we use Struggle Bug a few times to lower its special attack, but after that measly Dark Pulse, we went for Lunge to take care of Umbreon. Flareon comes out next, so we swap to Bert to take a hit from Flare Blitz. Bert should be able to withstand another hit, so we use Earthquake. For some reason, Flareon went for Baby Doll Eyes, so even with lowered attack, Earthquake finishes off Flareon. Now that Vaporeon is out, we swap to Katniss. Unfortunately, after taking a hit from Hydro Pump, Vaporeon's Aurora Beam demolishes Katniss. Sorry Katniss, I'll have Reiner take it from here. After using Fake Out for chip damage, Vaporeon's Hydro Pump misses, and we get to land a Shadow Ball to lower its special attack. Even when lowered, that Hydro Pump still hits like a truck. Reiner knows his purpose is to do as much damage as possible, so he was willing to make a sacrifice for the team. Tina replaces Reiner, and after having her attack stat drop twice, she manages to finish off with Vaporeon. Jolteon is up next, but Tina's attack is too low to be useful, so we swap back to Bert in a predicted Thunder. Since Jolteon is not much of a threat, Bert knocks it out in one Earthquake. Leafeon is a little scarier than Jolteon, but Bert should be able to take one hit, right? Wrong. Here comes Lori to the rescue. Really hoping she's faster, but she isn't, and that was a very close call from X-Scissor. But since she's still standing, her lunge manages to take out Leafeon. Penny's last Pokemon, Sylveon, comes out to the field, and since Sylveon can hit like a truck, Lori is going to have to make a sacrifice to lower that special attack stat. Now that Lori is down, we swap to Victor, and with one Iron Head, that should be the end of the battle. What? And Victor is in love now? Victor, I need you to look past this and land one more blow. I guess not. Tina, get back in there and set things straight. There we go. It's all over now, Penny. Now what do we do? Wait, Director Clavel says Team Star can continue. Look everyone, we can all stay together now. Speaking of sticking together, let's see how Nimona is doing. She shouldn't be too far from here. Hey girl, let's have our showcase match from one champion to another. Since you lead with Lycanroc, I'll start out with Debbie. Lycanroc sets up with Stealth Brock, so we react with Earthquake to take out Lycanroc. Goodra comes up next, so we swap to Kiana. Ice Beam does nothing to her, so two play roughs should do it. Apparently we have a speed tie, so Kiana took another Muddy Water and is now in the red, so she's not going down without a fight. Since Kiana is low on health, we use this opportunity to do some chip damage to get ourselves a safe swap to Debbie. Since Earthworm literally eats ground type moves, we have to use Superpower to attack. Iron Tail missed, so we get a free hit on Earthworm. Since we might need Debbie for later, I swap to Maui to finish off Earthworm. With Maui being low on HP, we make the executive decision to swap to Tata. Once Palmot lost its electric type with Double Shock, we're going to try to make it fall asleep. That close combat hurt really badly for Tata, so we swap to Debbie. Now that Palmot is asleep, we can smack it down with Earthquake, and apparently land a crit. The Dunsparce is actually a scary Pokemon to face off against, so we're hoping Superpower can take it out in one shot. It's faster than Debbie, but she manages to stick around and nearly take out the Dunsparce. We don't have many good options for a good swap, so Mike tags in to take a hit from Dragon Rush. Hyper Drill does massive damage, but Mike manages to survive and land a Drain Punch to the Dunsparce. Now it's down to the wire with Meowscarada. With it being a fast Pokemon, there might be some more sacrifices. We swap into Velma and pray that she's able to take a hit and be faster. Play Rough manages to crit, so we lose more HP than we want. Thunder Punch does a lot of damage too, but not enough to take out Velma, so we get to land a Leech Life to negate the damage. We have a chance now, so Velma tears into Bug and eats more Thunder Punches before securing victory with one last Leech Life. Well fought, Nimona. Really glad we can be rivals and friends. Arvin said he wanted all of us to meet up somewhere. So let's see what he's got in store for us at Area 0. The friend group met up at Zero Gate, and we're told to descend to the bottom of Area 0. So we make the journey to the bottom to a very harsh truth. Sorry, Arvin. I'll take this fight. In what may be the coolest battle ever, I feel like we are not truly prepared. But it doesn't hurt to try. Professor Turo leads with Iron Moth, so we send out Will. Fiery Dance does a decent chunk of damage, but Earthquake takes out Iron Moth in one go. Iron Thorns comes out next, and since we have a decent matchup against it, we keep Will around. That was a big mistake, because Iron Thorns took out Will with Earthquake. We send in Maui to destroy Iron Thorns to avenge Will. Iron Bundle swoops in next, so we swap to Courtney. Water Pulse doesn't do too much, so Energy Ball eliminates Iron Bundle. Next on the list is Iron Hands, so we keep Courtney around to counter. Fake Out delays a turn, but in the next turn, we eviscerate Iron Hands with Moonblast. Professor Turo drops in Iron Jugulis, and I'm feeling a little confident, so we keep Courtney in. Apparently, Courtney is slower, so he takes a Flash Cannon to the face and somehow manages to survive. Thanks to that, we landed a Moonblast and one-shot Iron Jugulis. Now it's Iron Valiant versus Courtney. Not wanting to overstay our welcome, we swap to Victor for a predicted Poison Jab. Brick Break does a little less than half HP to Victor, but Iron Head doesn't take out Iron Valiant. So we gamble on Brick Break not knocking out Victor the next turn. It doesn't. So we landed one last Iron Head and defeated Professor Turo. Very fitting that I used the Star Pokemon for Team Star to defeat the final boss. A couple story beats later, and I get to go back to hanging out with friends again. And that is my playthrough of Pokémon Violet as a member of Team Star. For the most part. This was an idea I've had since the games came out, but I never got around to it until now. It was fun replaying the game again and using a lot of Pokemon I've never used before. I definitely wanted to replay more Pokemon games now with some interesting challenges. If you like this type of content, definitely hit that like button. Let me know which game I should play through in the comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of my future uploads. Special thanks to everyone who made it this far, and since you're still around, check out this video right here. I think you'll enjoy it too.